We are back with another edition of the TNA Impact Review. This is the Wrasslin for Life Network, and I am your host, Ringsider Anthony. We got a lot to talk about today. There was no new episode of TNA Impact last week due to the weather, but they are back this week in full force. We had Jordynne Grace teaming up with Soruka from NXT and Masha Slamovich to take on Wendy Choo, Rosemary, and Tasha Steelz. We had a match between Josh Alexander and Eric Young. We had the build to the big main event at Bound for Glory between Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry. Yeah, we got a lot to get into. I haven't seen y'all in a week, so this is going to be amazing. Let's get right into it. Like I said, welcome back to the Wrasslin for Life Network, and welcome back to another edition of the TNA Impact Review. And I am going to get right into it. So we kicked off TNA Impact with Jordynne Grace teaming up with Soruka from NXT and Masha Slamovich to take on Wendy Choo from NXT, Rosemary, and Tasha Steelz. Jordynne Grace has been feuding with Wendy Choo and Rosemary for about a month now, a month and a half. This feud has spilled over to NXT as well, and obviously here in TNA with Wendy Choo actually challenging Jordynne Grace for the TNA Knockouts World title a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, they've been feuding. Soruka got involved about 2 weeks ago when she was on NXT teaming up with Jordynne Grace to take on Wendy Choo and Rosemary. And then Tasha Steelz got involved with all of this, attacking Masha Slamovich, which they have animosity because of them losing the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. So that's pretty much how we got to this 6-women tag team match on this week's episode of TNA Impact. Wendy Choo and Rosemary work very, very well as a tag team, and I'm loving it right now. Soruka and Jordynne Grace, they work very well as a tag team. Adding the addition of Masha Slamovich and Tasha Steelz was perfect. This was a great match to open up TNA Impact. This showcased the Knockouts division, showcased the NXT Women's division, as well as we continue with this NXT TNA crossover. I really like what's going on here. They're doing a wonderful job trying to cross over the NXT superstars to TNA and the TNA superstars to NXT. This match was won by Jordynne Grace and her team of Soruka and Masha Slamovich, but at the end there was some animosity there between Masha Slamovich and Jordynne Grace. It seems like Masha Slamovich believed she had the win of this match, and Jordynne Grace kind of took over and won this match. So this has led to something that's really big going down at Bound for Glory, and I'm excited to talk about it. So later on in the episode of TNA Impact, Jordynne Grace was looking for Masha Slamovich. She happened upon Masha's dressing room, and when she walked in, it was Masha's kill wall up of all of her victims with Jordynne Grace in the middle of this. So Jordynne Grace marched herself to the ring, called out Masha Slamovich, and boom, Bound for Glory. Masha Slamovich challenging Jordynne Grace to the TNA Knockouts World Championship. They did this match a few years ago at Bound for Glory. I want to say it was Bound for Glory 2022. So 2022, man, y'all, they killed in that match. And we are running it back October 26th in Detroit, Michigan. Masha Slamovich, Jordynne Grace, TNA Knockouts World Championship. You need to be seated for this match. They put on probably one of the best women's matches I have ever seen in TNA, and TNA delivers on women's matches, on knockout matches. This one is sure to be good. Be locked in, be tuned in October 26th for Jordynne Grace versus Masha Slamovich. We started the build to the Joe Hendry Nick Nemeth world title match main event at Bound for Glory this week. We heard from Nick Nemeth and we heard from Joe Hendry as well. Joe Hendry's big concern at this point is if JBL is going to show up and actually help Nick Nemeth retain the TNA World Championship. And Nick Nemeth basically assured Joe Hendry that he won't get involved, but this is going to be great. You got two big names, two big faces in TNA going at it in the main event of Bound for Glory. I think this is going to be great. I'm excited for it. But as they were kind of going back and forth on the mic, AJ Francis showed up and basically said that he made Joe Hendry who Joe Hendry is today. He put Joe Hendry on the map. He made Joe Hendry a star. So guess what? Santino Marella said we're gonna have a tag team match. Santino Marella was all over this show tonight. So we got a tag team match in the main event. We'll talk about that a little later, but it was Joe Hendry teaming up with Nick Nemeth in Can They Coexist versus AJ Francis of First Class with KC Navarro. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting main event, and we'll get to that a little later. We head to our next match of Josh Alexander versus Eric Young. Eric Young, the foundation of TNA wrestling, and Josh Alexander, the face of this current iteration of TNA wrestling. A couple of weeks ago, Josh Alexander hit a blindsided attack on Eric Young, which has led to this match. Josh Alexander actually has aligned himself, or I should say Saint and Sinner have aligned themselves with Josh Alexander to form the Northern Armory. I like that name. I think this is a perfect name. But this match was won by Josh Alexander. No surprise there. And then there was a 3-on-1 attack on Eric Young by the Northern Armory, and we thought Steve Macklin was going to come out to save Eric Young, but he did not, because he was laid out backstage by Saint and Sinner before the match even started. So we are building some type of alliance with Eric Young and Steve Macklin, and Josh Alexander has kind of built his new stable, his new alliance with Saint and Sinner as the Northern Armory. I'm excited to see where this goes in the next couple of weeks. Does this lead to a match at Bound for Glory? We will see, but Josh Alexander's heel work right now is top tier. We also heard from Mike Santana as well this weekend. When Mike Santana has the mic, you got to be listening. But Mike Santana called out Moose. Mike Santana has not forgot what happened earlier this year, where they took out Moose and he was unable to be in the World Championship elimination match at Slammiversary. Moose had a hand in it. Mike Santana wants Moose. It is happening, y'all. I'm excited for this. Moose, Mike Santana, Bound for Glory. I want a stipulation, but I'm not the booker. So if we get a singles match, I am here for it. Mike Santana, Moose. They had a heated exchange of words this week on TNA Impact. At one point, I feel like Moose had said something about Mike Santana being a Puerto Rican kid, a poor Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx, and that really is what set Mike Santana off. There was security out there because of Moose. Moose wanted security. I don't know why. Moose is one of the biggest guys in TNA. He probably needed security because he's a heel. But at that point, the other members of the system came out to attack Mike Santana. ABC came out. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy came out as well. This is what led to the ABC versus Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy match, the Hardys versus ABC. They were originally already scheduled for this match, but they made this an impromptu match because everybody got involved. But yeah, Mike Santana versus Moose at Bound for Glory is going to be really good. Mike Santana has been extremely good since he returned to TNA wrestling. He's been on a roll. He brings the energy, he brings the hype, he brings it to TNA wrestling. And then Moose being a part of the system, being champion well over 7 months, I believe, in TNA. He's been killing it with his group. So I'm excited for Bound for Glory. Moose versus Mike Santana is going to deliver. So we move right into the Hardys versus ABC, a back and forth match between these two. And I really think we were about to get an instant classic. Now, before this match started, Santino said that this match was going to show, give us some implications of what could happen at Bound for Glory. So it was like the winner may be receiving that TNA World Tag Team title shot at Bound for Glory. Well, the system got involved in this match. When we really were about to hit the good points of this match, the system got involved, attacked ABC, attacked the Hardys. Santino Marella came out yet again to say, hey, y'all thought y'all were going to ruin this match, talking directly to the system. Well, let me tell you what's going down at Bound for Glory. The system will be defending the TNA World Tag Team Championships against the Hardys and ABC in a full metal mayhem match going down. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for Full Metal Mayhem. I'm excited that it's a three-way match for the tag team championships. Bound for Glory is already shaping up to be one of the better shows this year from TNA. TNA has delivered at Slammiversary, at Victory Road, at Hard to Kill, at Rebellion, and I believe it will be the same at Bound for Glory when we see Full Metal Mayhem. We also had a number one contendership X Division match for the title, and that match will go down next week on TNA Impact. It will be Mike Bailey defending the title against the winner of this match. The contenders in this match was Jason Hotch, Laredo Kid, and Leon Slater, and this was an X Division showcase match, as we like to call it, and it was won by Leon Slater. So I'm excited for Leon Slater next week to go one-on-one with Speedball Mike Bailey for the X Division title. That would be a phenomenal match. I'm not going to talk about, this match that much. It was great. It was a showcase of the X Division, but next week is going down. Leon Slater, one of the youngest people right now in TNA wrestling, challenging for the X Division title next week against Speedball Mike Bailey. So we end TNA Impact with the main event, the tag team match between Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry versus KC Navarro and AJ Francis of First Class. And no surprise here, Joe Hendry, Nick Nemeth, they picked up the victory. There was a point in the match where Nick Nemeth hit the standing ovation, which is Joe Hendry's finisher, and then Joe Hendry hit the danger zone, which is Nick Nemeth's finisher. I don't know if that was respect. I don't know if it was just jockeying for position, but it happened nonetheless. Nothing really crazy or special happening in this match, but like I said, no surprise that Joe Hendry and Nick Nemeth picked up the victory as we build to their big world championship match at Bound for Glory, which I am excited about. It's going to be great. Bound for Glory is shaping up to be a great card, and I am going to go through the card in just a little bit. But just to round out this week's episode of TNA Impact, for them to be off for about a week or so, 2 weeks, I think they came back pretty strong. We've gotten great builds to Bound for Glory, Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich, and we have the Full Metal Mayhem match. We have Moose versus Mike Santana going down. So they're building rather quickly to Bound for Glory. It was originally supposed to be a 4-week build, but because of Hurricane Helene, they had to cancel the Spartanburg, South Carolina tapings, and they moved the tapings to later in the week to Nashville, Tennessee, which put one of the 4 episodes of the build for Bound for Glory on the back burner. They were not able to film it. So last week, like I said at the beginning of this video, last week's episode of TNA Impact was a best of Bound for Glory episode. So they kind of had to get things done rather quickly within 3 episodes. So we had the start of the Bound for Glory build this week. We'll finish it off over the course of the next 2 weeks with 2 more episodes of TNA Impact heading into Bound for Glory on October 26th live on Triller TV. And we will also be here live on the Wrasslin for Life Network covering Bound for Glory and giving our live reactions and live thoughts as the show is airing. So be here, seated, Bound for Glory, October 26th. Before I leave you guys today, I am going to quickly run through the Bound for Glory card so far. So here we go. We first got a Monsters Ball match between Matt Cardona and PCO for the TNA Digital Media Championship and the International Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. Mike Santana will be taking on Moose in singles action at Bound for Glory. We have Full Metal Mayhem for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. The System will be defending against ABC and the Hardys. Jordan Grace will be defending the TNA Knockouts World Championship against Masha Slamovich in a Bound for Glory 2022 rematch. And Joe Hendry will be challenging Nick Nemeth to the TNA World Championship at Bound for Glory. Those are the matches we have so far set for Bound for Glory. And I want to say, like I do every episode, if you are watching on YouTube, thank you. If you are listening to me or to the Wrasslin for Life Network on any of the podcasting platforms, I thank you. This was another edition of the TNA Impact Review. I will be back next week as we continue the build to Bound for Glory. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.